Well, we reported a couple of weeks ago about some possible changes to Miss Marvel's powers. And although recently we found out the show is coming our way in 2022, we haven't really gotten any more details about the possibility of that going on. We've heard several times that her powers are going to undergo a change, and it has caused some concern and wonder from many fans. Now, we have another rumor report that seems to indicate the powers will undergo a change, but will be very familiar to the character from the comics. Let's break down what we're hearing. But before we dive in though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, the big giveaway. We got a PlayStation 5 to give away at 25,000 subscribers. All you have to do to get in on our giveaway is be a subscriber and leave a comment. Also, while you're at it, check out the Buy Me a Coffee link down below. It's a pretty cool way to support this channel with just a tiny bit of pocket change, all while creating no new obligations for yourself. We really appreciate it. Well, we've known for a while that it's pretty unlikely that Marvel Studios was going to delve into Kamala Khan's comic book Inhuman origin story as they started to develop her for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But then we started to hear about some big and fundamental changes being made to her powers. Now, in the comics, she's an Inhuman, and like all Inhumans, she gets her powers from the Terrigen Mist. Now, these powers have been dubbed the Embiggening powers, and they are pretty unique to the character, but not totally unique to comics. One of the problems is the Inhumans currently don't exist in the MCU, and as we've talked about a couple of times here, we believe her powers are now going to come from the cosmic bands that she wears, also known as the Negabands. They were actually used by the original Mar-Vell in the comics, and it would tie her to Captain Marvel and Kree technology pretty nicely. Now, recently, a rumor shared by scooper Daniel Rickman seems to confirm what we were hearing about her new powers being somewhat like Green Lantern in DC Comics, but it might not be the departure that we believe. What he said was, Miss Marvel will have her embiggening powers, but it'll look more like Green Lantern, less Mr. Fantastic. It sounds to me like she's going to have those embiggening powers, but they will be energy enveloping her, somewhat like Green Lantern's constructs. This does kind of make a lot of sense because we know the Fantastic Four is coming in the near future, and her powers are very, very similar to Reed Richards. I also think this decision was made to somewhat power her up so she could stand with the rest of the Marvel characters like Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel, both of which have a pretty high power level. Now, I do believe this will make some fans of the character in the comics pretty upset, and quite honestly, I really don't know what to think of it until I see it in action. I've read the comics and I like them, but I wouldn't call myself a huge Kamala fan. But I do find when you depart from source material, sometimes you do a disservice to the character. I'm getting the sneaking suspicion they are going to be making major changes to Kamala. With her not being an Inhuman and her embiggening powers being somewhat like energy constructs, we really are in the realm of a new character. Well, we really won't know anything until next year when the show finally releases. Marvel Studios hasn't really steered us too wrong in the past, and they do a pretty good job of taking something and reimagining it while keeping the spirit of the original comic base still there. Hopefully they hit a home run with Miss Marvel because I think they have some pretty extended plans for the character. What do you guys think? How do you feel about Kamala Khan's powers being significantly changed and altered from their comic book origin? And do you think this was done to avoid mentioning she was an Inhuman, or to put her on a closer power level with Captain Marvel and Spectrum? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not getting any updates. Peace.